only 7 convictions. Out of 15,000, only 7 convictions.
That ain't right.
That ain't right. No, it ain't right. And the crazy part about that is because there's been 1 conviction, we have people who think we should be happy, we should pack up, we should go home, we should be, dancing in the street like the rest of the 400 and something people in Minnesota got justice, because they didn't. Over 400 people, over 470 people have been killed in the state of Minnesota since the year 2000. How is it that only in the last few years did we have the first conviction of an officer who killed someone? And that was Muhammad Noor, who was part of the Minneapolis Police Department. And we know why that man was convicted. Now, should he have used a gun in a situation like that without even assessing the circumstances? Absolutely not. But it was an accident from my perspective, and he still got convicted of 3rd-degree murder for killing an affluent white woman. And the fact that Justine Rusacek-Damon was from Australia meant that the whole world was paying attention. It became a matter of international affairs. And one of the things that happened in that situation was that we saw the very same city council that tried to take the focus off of George Floyd after he was killed to look progressive and say, we're going to dismantle MPD, knowing damn well they didn't even have the legal authority to do so, getting people's hopes up, having everybody paying attention to what they said instead of George Floyd. That very same city council had the chance to do something about policing in Minneapolis long before George Floyd was killed. But what did they do?
Nothing.
They gave Justine Damon's family $20 million. They gave black victims of police killings pennies on the dollar. So we had Terrence Franklin killed in 2013. His family wound up receiving $795,000 after Justine's family got her settlement. And you had Jamar Clark shot in the head at point blank range by Minneapolis police because he was standing at the back of an ambulance checking on a friend. And although he was killed in 2015, his family received $200,000 after Justine's family got $20 million. So, no, that ain't right. So when the city council suddenly shows up in Powderhorn Park looking all smiley faced and Pollyannish, saying what they were going to do in the name of equity, I knew that it was a lie from the pit of hell. Because when you have the authority to make decisions that are within your purview, you're going to make equitable decisions right then. But they didn't do that. They placed a much higher value on a white woman's life than on the lives of 2 black men. And those are 2 black men's families that actually got settlements. We're not talking about all of the families that got absolutely nothing when their loved ones were killed. So there are families walking around grieving. They're happy that a white man in particular, was finally convicted for killing someone, but they're thinking about the fact that they are walking away completely empty-handed from a financial perspective. And as Tashira Garraway talks about, some of those families lost the other breadwinner in the family. So they're having to make do and take care of their children under those circumstances, and the city just moves on like nothing's wrong. And meanwhile, they're continuing to try to pretend to be progressive, and it just doesn't make any sense. It makes me sick to my stomach, to be honest with you. And rather than them cleaning up the Minneapolis Police Department, what did they just do recently? They paid out a $27 million settlement. And don't get me wrong, I believe that George Floyd's family deserved every penny that they got and should have gotten more.
Yeah.
Think about the humiliation that family experienced watching their loved one be murdered, lynched on camera. It's one thing for MPD and city council to take you in a back room and show you some body camera footage. It's another thing for the entire world to watch your loved one's last moments while they're helpless, gasping for breath, saying, I can't breathe, saying, tell my kids I love them. Calling out for their mama. Just saying, come on, just let me get up. It honestly, y'all, y'all can see I'm still traumatized from having to watch different angles of George Floyd being killed during that trial as the different parts of the body camera footage came forward. So for white folks sitting at home that expect us to be happy, they need to keep it moving.
That's right.
And if they don't want us in these streets, then they need to use their privilege and their power to stand up and do something.
That's right.
And hold these crooked politicians accountable for doing right by the people. Because I've seen a lot of them over the last couple of days doing interviews, talking about how glad they are that Derek Chauvin was convicted, talking about the need for racial justice and equity. And I'm like, where was your ass when we were asking for help to get Derek Chauvin convicted? Sitting in your office, chilling. And now you want to do interviews and act like you care. So if you didn't do anything then, what did you do when Daunte Wright was killed? How many of those elected officials do y'all think came to the Brooklyn Center Police Department when practically a child? Yes, he was 20, but we went to view his body today. All I could do was weep because that was a child, and he looked like a child. And that police officer looked at him, and she did not see her own son. She saw a threat. And that's just so hard for me to process, that there are people walking around, not that are racist, not that are white supremacists. We know that they're there. But the fact that the state has given them authority over black bodies that they don't deserve. The state has given them a gun. The state has given them a taser. The state has given them tanks. The state has given them rubber bullets and pepper spray and flashbang grenades and all kinds of munitions. And they have white supremacist ideologies and anti-blackness in their hearts. And then when we raise concerns about it, they think that we're the ones who are in the wrong, or that we're crazy, and they try to gaslight us. But when I went and looked and saw Daunte Wright, it was just a reminder of how real this is. He can't even do the things he wanted to do in life, like hold his son again, because of state-sanctioned violence. So those elected officials, they need to step up, or they need to get the hell out the way. Get out them seats. Go find a different job. Leave us alone if you ain't gonna stand up for the people. Because don't nobody have time for you being a talking head, and you won't get out and do anything about what's going on. And the other reason why it's difficult to maintain a celebratory spirit is the fact that as the verdict was being read, what happens to Ma'Khia Bryant? 15 or 16 years old, little black girl. Some have said she was in foster care. And of course you got white folks saying, oh, she had a knife. Yeah, but why the hell would the police bring guns to a knife fight then? And she wasn't thinking about them anyway. If you don't know how to subdue a 15-year-old girl, you definitely have no business on a police force.
Listen.
And even though that happened in Ohio, something similar happened right here. A young black woman named Tania Harris was a new mom, I believe still in high school. And she had people that came to her house trying to get into a fight with her, trying to jump her. And her mom came outside to try to get them to leave. They wouldn't leave. So her mom called the Robbinsdale police to protect Tania Harris. The police came on the scene. Tania Harris runs out the house with a knife. Police say stop, she's still running. They shoot her twice in the stomach. A new mom, petite, tiny. By the grace of God, Tania survived. But what do? They took her to North Memorial Hospital and they handcuffed her to the bed. And then they told her family that they could not go visit her because she was a suspect. Because she didn't stab nobody. She didn't kill nobody. She ran out the house with a knife. They shot her, then said she tried to block parents from being able to see her. So you know what we did when we found out? We gathered together in a park in North Minneapolis, and we marched through the streets of North Minneapolis. This was in the spring of 2015. We marched all the way to North Memorial. There's about 100 of us. We got to the hospital with her parents with us. Sheriff's deputies were waiting outside the hospital door, and we said her parents want to go see her because she almost died and she has had emergency surgery, and they said no. And we said her parents need to go see her, and so they went and made some calls. Her mom can go see her, as if she didn't also have a dad. See, they don't think when you got two parents, it doesn't fit their stereotypes, and they still want to deny the father access to their child. Yeah. And so the sheriff, all these white male sheriffs, deputies, no, she's not going to be able to see her dad. So I just said, get the last sheriff on the phone and let him know that we're going to block the ambulances. And I know some of y'all might ethically be like, you're going to block ambulances? We probably wasn't. But the point was, we had to let them know that we were not out there playing. And we said, we're not leaving. We're going to block this whole area if you don't let her see her dad too. And so finally, they're like, okay, they got scared because it was like 100 of us. So they let her go up, talk to her parents, talked on the phone. We got to hear her, cheer her on. And I recently saw Tania Harris at a Black Business Expo event. She had her little daughter next to her, and they had made jewelry together. And I said, thank God the police tried to kill this girl. By the grace of God, she is still alive. Yes, that deserves a hand. Like, how you gonna try to take out an 18-year-old, new mom, petite, having a mental health crisis in that moment? But see, they don't think of our children as being human beings. So that's why we're out here today. We want to lift up the young people who have been killed by police. Adam Toledo, 13 years old in Chicago. They claim he had a gun. The video camera footage is showing his hands was up. You look at the boy, it's like, this a boy. This ain't no man. He didn't look like no threat. He was a boy. You don't see a human being. What are you doing on the force? What are you doing on the force? You taking out kids? It's one thing like they try to do with George Floyd with that big black man theory, but you got a little Latino boy, and you still treating him like a threat. Somebody say, that ain't right.
That ain't right.
So we out here, y'all. We just gonna continue lifting up the names of the people who are being killed, the names of our children who are being killed, and we want to continue to urge you all to stay engaged in this fight. Because although we lift up the names of those who've been killed, we're trying to prevent other people from being killed. We're trying to stop other children from being killed. We're trying to stop young black boys from being killed. That's what this is about. Because some people criticize, y'all just come up with, no, we're saving your child's life. Because we out here letting people know that we're not going to tolerate killer cops. They will be held accountable. So I just had to get that off my chest, y'all. It's very emotional for me after seeing this boy's body today and seeing his family suffering. Some of y'all, raise your hand if you went and you saw Dante's body. It's jarring, isn't it? Seeing that child. Whew, all right. I just had to get that off that wasn't even a prepared, nothing. It was just like, just had to share what was on my heart. Because it hurts. It hurts. It hurts. So I'm going to turn it over to Monique. Let's give it up for Monique Colors Doty. Been in the fight for a long time. She's the aunt of Marcus Golden, who was killed by the St. Paul police. And she is ride or die. Like, honestly, if I'm ever going into war, this is who I want by my side. Let's give it up for Monique Colors Doty, y'all.
Thank you, Nakima. And I have to say thank you to Nakima because she just does not die down or wear down or take a break. You know, she called me this morning. Like, Monique, hey, I think we need to have a press conference today. Okay, because I'm still asleep, half sleep. Oh, and then we can have a protest tonight. Oh, and I'm sitting up in the bed like the girl from The Ring. The hair's half over my face. I'm like, huh? Okay, Nakima, let's do it. Let's do it. So I just thank you for being tireless, right, in keeping the demand and the push for justice going. Thank you, Trey Hearn Cruz, who threw this event up on the Black Lives Matter page. Trey Hearn Cruz is just a man out here doing the thing for Black Lives Matter. So thank you so much for that. And thank you all of you who came out, because right, I'm sure you're out here tonight. You were somewhere in the streets last night. You know, we're so thankful that Chauvin was convicted. But you know what that is? That's just 1 down, 3 to go. So let me hear you. 1 down, 3 to go. 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 Right, it's not over. Like Nakima said, it is not over. So we're going to make sure that we can keep pressure on this system, because there are 3 more individuals who at any point in time should have and could have stopped Derek Chauvin, but did not care enough to. I don't understand that, right? Strangers on the street wanted to help George Floyd, but the people who are getting paid, sitting right there, knowing people are filming, not one of those 3 had enough sense to think, wait a minute, this might not play out so well, right? Even for them. But they were hired as Minneapolis police officers, and they should go to prison, just like many other Minneapolis police officers. So let's get a trend started with those 4 in prison, incarcerated, lock them up, throw away the key. So for Daunte Wright and his family and friends, oh, our hearts just go out to you. This is a very sobering day for Daunte Wright and his family. I'm thinking of his little child who won't see his father anymore. So it's stressful, right? There's a lot of preparations that even go into planning a funeral or visitation. And I'm so thankful that they even opened up the church to the community, so that the people who've been standing up and supporting could come out and pay their respects, you know. So I thank them for honoring us as activists and those who have been in the streets for sharing their precious, the final moments with Daunte, with the community. So let's keep them in our prayers, but they also know that we're here fighting for him and fighting for our youth across the country. Right? So Adam Toledo, what she was talking about, Micaiah, but we also had so many youth here in the Twin Cities who've been beat up by the police at school, you know, and it makes no sense at all. So we just have a lot of reckless, abusive officers, right? And so I call the Twin Cities ground zero, right? Because we get down, you know, when we're out here, we've got a finely tuned system that we have when we get out here and hit the streets, right? We're not reckless, you know, we know what we're doing. We got some cars, we got some motorcycles, we got sound, we got lawyers, we've got, you know, first aid, medics. We're out here and we're doing it. We're trying to keep people safe. We really do. But you know, there are times when the police who are just acting reckless and abusive, that they come after us, right? So we have to remember, as I've been continuing to say, all the people that are facing charges, you know, and we've had more charges since Daunte Wright was killed. So we want to make sure that we're continuing to find out how we can support them. And we have to show up, do court support, demand the charges be dropped, right? Because if the people aren't in the street demanding the justice, there's no chance of justice. There is zero chance of justice, right? So we just want to make sure that we are here doing our part for the Twin Cities, that we are standing in solidarity with other cities and communities, right, that are losing their loved ones, as the whole entire world stood with us for George Floyd. So we make sure that we give back what we have received, and we make sure that we share our platform with others to share their experience. And there's a brother here, comrade, who's talking about fighting and standing up for Breonna Taylor, and how in his city they have they have come down on there so much. So he doesn't want to speak, but we stand with you and Breonna Taylor, the community, and thank you for what you did in standing up for Breonna Taylor. We were out here with y'all doing it too. Know that. Know that. Know that so much. Oh, Breonna Taylor's aunt was here?
Yeah.
Oh, she was here. Oh, okay. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. We have people coming here, and and we have people in the movement that travel in other places to help out.
We out here too.
Yes, amen. Thank you. Okay, so we're going to bring Trey Cruz, co-founder, Black Lives Matter, Minnesota, and he just always putting in work, getting it in. Really brought the whole message of reparations for the descendants of displaced Africans. That was Trey pioneering that here locally, and then it got picked up by a bunch of others. But this was Trey the first that I really heard of it. He has a weekly study group about reparations, and I call him a walking encyclopedia because he can tell you about the history of St. Paul. He does studying about finding out who were the white supremacists that have colonized in this area and have things named after him. He just so informative, right? Just has memory, I guess, with that like an elephant, doesn't forget anything, and he's always reading and studying. So that's what one thing I admire about Trey Hearn. So give a hand to Trey Cruz.
Please give another round of applause for Monique Gotti. We've been fighting for every victim of police brutality in the state of Minnesota since 2015. Give another round of applause for Nikema Armstrong. The way we just seen her step up when Dante Wright was murdered by the Brooklyn Center Police Department. Today, a newspaper called me and asked me about us being the new civil rights leader in the future, and I said, we're already the new civil rights leaders. I'm standing with them right now, people like Monique Gotti, Jelani, Nikema Levy Pounds, even Lil Brandon Tulich, Muhammad. It's going down.
No doubt, no doubt.
We got our photographers. We got the Gordon Parks here in the building, getting it in. The Black CNN and everybody else. Our independent media. We really have to give a big shout out to our independent media. They've been here this whole time when there wasn't no media here. Our independent media was here, always capturing the story for the world to see what was happening here on Ground Zero. Our youth are under attack. We're celebrating our victory, no doubt. We're gonna celebrate it too. But our youth are under attack every second, every minute, every hour of the day here in the United States. We just had little Adam Toledo was killed in Ohio. We just had Dante Wright, only 20 years old. The woman who killed him has been on the police force for 26 years. So she's been a killer cop longer than Dante has even been alive. We got little Adam Toledo, but we got Desmond Knight right here in Minnesota. He was choked out by a Maplewood police officer during a raid, and we're demanding, we'll be coming to the White Bear Lake Police Department. Maplewood Police Department was there. Ramsey County Sheriff's Department was there. But the White Bear Lake Police Department actually choked a 13-year-old boy, and we're demanding that the footage of that be released immediately, and we'll be showing up to the White Bear Lake Police Department within the next week. Our kids are being called the N-word in school, little girls, right out at White Bear Lake High School. So our kids are traumatized and are scared to go to school because they're getting death threats, because they're forming clubs called Black Excellence Clubs. And the white supremacists don't like that, so they send them death threats. And then this makes our children not want to go to school. And we're already in a place where we have the worst education gap in America. As if the teachers are racist, and if the children are racist, then how are our kids going to learn? How are our kids going to feel safe in school and want to go and get a quality education? Every kid has the right to a quality education in the state of Minnesota, but they also have the right to be safe while they're getting that education. So we're going to continue to come out and stand up for justice for our youth and make sure that we get justice for Dante Wright, Adam Toledo, Desmond Knight, and any other children who are being abused by law enforcement in the United States. When I say Tamir, you say Rice. Tamir.
Rice.
Tamir.
Rice.
Tamir.
Rice.
Tamir.
Rice.
When I say Dante, you say right. Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
When I say Micaiah, you say Bryant. Micaiah.
Right.
Micaiah.
Right.
Micaiah.
Right.
Micaiah.
Right.
Micaiah.
Right.
Micaiah.
Right.
When I say Dante, you say right. Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
Dante.
Right.
Thank you. Peace.
Thank you so much, Trahern. So next we have Jaylani. He's the head of CAIR Minnesota. Jaylani is just a force to be reckoned with, and he's such a smart brother. He's a lawyer, and he's just leading, and he knows what he's doing, right? But always you know, just the care that he has for the community and for all people. And he just is continuing to just let his light shine as a leader, and I'm so thankful to be in this movement with Jaylani and with his whole staff, everybody at CAIR. Just wonderful, excellent work that you do. So thank you, and we have Jaylani.
Thank you, Monique. And I have always seen Monique at all the protests, and it's not easy being a family member who've lost someone and still be out here organizing, still out here managing that. And Monique, you've been one of the more calm and collective, but a powerful force for this movement. So we stand on your shoulders and your leadership. We really appreciate all the work that you have done. And we need to give justice to Marcus Golden. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. First of all, I want to just greet you with a greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. May peace and blessings be upon you all today. You know, this space has been calling us. And I know yesterday was a powerful day to hear guilty, guilty, guilty. But we all know that we need to continue this fight. And I'm really glad to see so many of you coming out here. Some of you I can see right now to the crowd. I've seen you multiple times. This means something to you. This is not a hashtag for you. This is not just a moment. This is something you care about, you want to fight, and you want to continue to do that. So I appreciate you. I appreciate you for filling the streets and being out here. And while the cameras leave, and those people, as Nakeem was mentioning earlier, who were just here for the moment, leave, we're not going anywhere. We're not going anywhere. And if we need to do Project Pull Up, Operation Pull Up, we're going to be pulling up some people's houses and they won't even know when we came. No, they'll know when we came, but they're not expecting us. You know, and it's interesting that we say that because, you know, we're just fighting for real transformative change. That's what we're really fighting for. Just to reflect on seeing Dante today, you know, I see him as my little brother. I see him as probably someone I would have hooped with, to learn about him playing basketball. You know, I played basketball just to connect with him in multiple ways. A father, I'm a father, and just to see this handsome young man taken away from us by an officer who said, oops. But we knew the moment that she walked out of the car, he was a black man in America. And black men in America do not get police officers to respond the same way it is for white people. And there's a lot of people that in the next week, as Nakima mentioned and others, that are satisfied with a guilty verdict inside that courthouse. We wouldn't need to be inside that courthouse if Chauvin was actually found guilty for all the other things that he did. He had 26 complaints against him. He was involved in the killing of nearly 5 other people actually, including George Floyd. This was a serial killer that we have allowed to exist in the city of Minneapolis. A serial killer. And right now we're trying to fight for justice outside the courthouse every single day. We are right now talking to legislators about passing police accountability bills because we know there is a clock running right now for someone else in our community because we haven't done our work. And that's the urgency I want to have all of you in your belly. There is a clock running out for one member of our community right now. We don't know who it is or what city, but they're going to be killed by the police because we failed to bring justice to this city. And so I want you to know, if you are pained by the killing of Dante Wright, if you are pained by the killing of George Floyd, be pained about the unnamed person that we can save if we put fear in the hearts of police departments. The next time they pull over a black person, they should fear pulling that trigger, because there's going to be accountability in this city. There's going to be accountability in this state. That's why we're fighting. We're fighting to save lives. We're fighting to make sure that this government that we pay our tax dollars for doesn't come back and kill our loved ones. So I want you to understand, as we celebrate yesterday was not an average day, because police officers in this country do not get handcuffs on them. They don't get to go home. They get to go home, but Derek Chauvin didn't go home. He went to a prison cell last night. It was a brand new day for Derek Chauvin. And by the way, there's a lot of people in prison right now who welcome Derek Chauvin. There's a lot of people who welcome him, you know? And there's a lot of people celebrating in prison too right now. Because for the first time they saw a glimpse of what it looked like to have a little bit of justice. Just a little bit. Just a sprinkle, because when you have 15,000 killings and only 7 officers go to prison, that's a problem, man. That's a problem. And we have that problem every single day. So when you wake up every morning, you should feel that in your belly, that there is someone we're trying to save. Can we get to it? Can we get to it? Can we get to it? Because I don't want to come to it after I hear something on Twitter that another officer involved shooting, and we come to the scene and they start lying, that just like they lied about George Floyd. We're tired of that. And so the truth is going to come out not after this verdict. I mean, not before the verdict, but actually after the verdict. Are we in this for the long haul? Are we in this until we get true justice outside these courthouses? Because there's a lot of people who were worried yesterday for their business. There's a lot of people worried yesterday for their home. There's a lot of people worried about their own safety. What about the safety of people who get up every single day who are being murdered by the police?
Talk about it.
Who wake up every single day looking in the back of the mirror and hoping that it's not a police officer. Or sleeping in their bed not knowing that a police is going to come in and just shoot them like Breonna Taylor. So this is a unique moment for all of us. And so I ask all of you who've been coming to these spaces, who believe in what you're doing, that we are right now demanding justice in a unique way. We want solutions to this problem. No more sympathies. No more, I'm sorry this happened. By the way, didn't Derek Chauvin go to jail? But what about the rest of them? What about the rest of them? How do you tell the 470 families that have never got the justice that we saw yesterday? What do we tell those families? We got Derek Chauvin? That's what we tell them? That ain't enough. And if you think about the justice system, how does it get black men into prison but can't get a single officer in there? Because there's a system built to do what? Incarcerate people, but really, it's a modern day slavery. It's a modern day slavery. You know, we heard what's been happening on the southern border. Americans on the southern border dividing children from their families. They've been doing that since the beginning of America. They've been doing that to Native Americans since the beginning with those boarding schools. Come on now. Come on now. We have been separating children from their families for a long time in this country. And right now, there's a lot of people incarcerated that we need to be knocking doors for. There's a lot of people that these corrupt officers put in prison wrongfully. Every single day we're hearing about a case of someone who's been released from prison for grabbing batteries, maybe for a toy that his child had. Batteries. Shame on that country, that state of California. One of the worst states when it comes to mass incarceration, by the way. But we also here in Minnesota have one of the worst cases of mass incarceration. And not only that, people are dying in COVID. Hardale Sherrill was killed in Beltrami County after going in there for not even more than 8 days. Killed while he was having a medical, dying from a medical condition. They left him in there to die. This type of brutality has to end. And Minnesota, we may have picked up a little bit of a steam. This is the time right now to add more. This is the time not to go home. We're no longer worried about the verdict. We know what's the future. Yesterday we were worried. Yesterday we didn't know what was coming. But now it is a bright future ahead of us. A bright future filled with guilty, guilty, guilty. And we want that for Dante Wright. We want that for all those families. And that is the only thing that we are going to be fighting for. But we are also going to be fighting for to end police brutality. We're going to hold police accountable, and they're going to be afraid of us. We're not going to be afraid of them. They're going to be afraid of us. We're not going to be afraid of them. That is what we want. And so I enjoy this moment. While we enjoy this moment, I call all of you to be in perpetual commitment, in persisting for justice, because we need to demand justice by any means necessary. I know we all know Dante Wright, we know George Floyd, but after George Floyd was killed, not only 6 months after, and not nearly 6 blocks away from where George Floyd was killed, Dolal Eid was killed. And I want to bring up the father of Dolal Eid, who's with us right now, who's with us right now, and he has been at every single corner, talking about the most important thing about his story of his son. And Dolal Eid right now, since his killing, it has been now almost 100 days. The attorney and us, we have not got a single piece of information about this case to the family. They are hiding the truth. And that is what has been happening, by the way. I know many of you are like surprised, like, what? This is how it's been happening. All these names that we have in our community, many of us can't follow because there's just so many. That's why we need to be waking up and realizing what's going on with Dolal Eid. We need to be not knocking the door until we get justice for Dolal Eid as well. And so I'm asking all of you to make that commitment, because when we make that commitment, we're going to be able to make the change that we necessary. So I want to bring up Dolal Eid's father, Bailey, who has now been speaking on behalf of his son, has been demanding justice for him.
Okay, everybody, well, thank you. I really appreciate you guys to be here and fighting for justice. My son, there was a killing in December 30th last year, and there was a kill as the Chilani would say 6 blocks from when they were killed to George Floyd. When they were killed, there was a lying a lot of times. They was saying what he had a gun, he didn't have. They say he was shoot us. They didn't shoot. They didn't show us. I mean, he was shooting them. The only things what they was to show us is only what they was killing my son. There was a saying he was having the car was with him, his girlfriend, and after a minute they was saying he was undercover police. And they was saying it was informal police again, or someone who was working with the police. They needed to show us a left side of the corner. It was 2 cars with the police. they was killing him. We just saw only a right angle. The police officer was shooting my son with so many bullets. And also same night, there was who came in my home, those guys who killed my son in my home. At time was 2 a.m. I was sleeping, me and my family and my kid. Okay, but there was arrest, there was a bond to the gangs, everybody, my kid, my wife, and me, myself. I was sleeping. There was a mega destroyer, like a tornado came in your home and blows it like this one. And we didn't know if they killed my son. We don't have any information. We got a shock, we were scared. Until today, my kid, who is 5 years now, at that time he was 4 years. And all my kids they was asking us if they what happened, why they kill our brother, why they was attack us. And we don't have any answer now. But the Dakota County, when they would take investigation, after 60 some days, he was saying, I'm retired. Why he take the case before? He knew he gonna be retired with that day. And that it means to show you he is not the one that would do the right way. Until now, we don't have any answer at all. And what we are fighting to get the justice. And also those police who was killed my loved one son. Okay, and other, okay, a loved one is who was lost by the hand of the police. Still they have a uniform and they was doing a service for the public. If you look like that, where is the justice? What I want to inform on and ask them and tell them, everybody who loves the justice, please never get right, never get tired, and never stop it until we bring it to the justice with those murderers. And I hope this inflation will never fail and will never stop until we need all of us justice. Every single day when there was a kill, one person innocent with the youth. Why they attacking our youth? Because they have a good future. Because they hate, because they color. What I wanted to ask the President of the United States, in Minnesota, 21 cities, everywhere, we need a justice. And we need some federal investigation to come here. And bring those murderers, like with Georgia of Floyd. And the man who was killing in front of the public and the world that saw him, how they was killing him. And so this is crying for help. We need help. We hear before so many times for human rights. We hear so many times of animal rights. Look this. As a black youth, are we human? Okay, well, who we are? Who we are? Are we insects? Because the insect, we never hear insects have a right. Thank you, and I hope justice will never be a blank. And I hope those of the people who was a murder of police will came to the in front of the justice and they're gonna get a punishment. We need a justice. Thank you of all of you. He'll appreciate you.
Say his name, Dalal Eid. Say his name. 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 If Dalal don't get it, if Dalal don't get it, if Dalal don't get it, if Dalal don't get it. All right, all right.
Thank you. Actually, I want to point something out. I thought this was Dalal's father, and I said, wait a minute, he's got a Dante Wright sign. That might not be his father. But see, that just shows how selfless he is. His son died about 5 months ago, and he's here, you know, holding up a sign for Dante Wright. You know, that's love, right? He put down his own pain to pick up somebody else's. So we want to give you a hand. We'll give you a hand, sir. So that's tough, but that's love. That's what it takes. Unselfishness to do that. So what an example he has set. It's so new, it's so fresh. We have to make sure that we put some more pressure on the system. I didn't realize that they didn't have information. It's been 100 days. It's ridiculous. So I mean, you can see the video. You can see the video online, and I don't see a gun. I don't see him shooting out. We just see the police surrounding him and shooting into his vehicle, and then go to the house with a no-knock warrant, terrorize the family. This got to stop.
I was just going to say that at the time that this happened, like you just said, they said he had a girlfriend in the car. But his dad just said that they found out that that was an undercover police officer. So they never produced the girl. And then they said that nobody else was injured but Dalal Eid. And then they said she was in the hospital. So they don't even know who was in the car with him. And the police first put out information saying it was a traffic stop. And we raised questions like, what kind of traffic stop? Give us more specifics. And then suddenly they started saying, oh, it was a sting operation, as we asked more and more questions, but that's what they do. They did the same thing with Dante Wright, claiming that it was some tabs, but Dante Wright told his mom they pulled him over because he had an air freshener hanging in his mirror. And then when we questioned the chief, first he's like, oh, I don't know what what? You don't know why they pulled this boy over and then ultimately killed him. It's ridiculous. So we have to keep asking questions and demanding answers. We stand in solidarity with you. You have been through so much, and we are sorry that you have experienced that. You did not deserve that. We love you. We appreciate you. Let's give him a hand, John. That's like courage to keep coming out here while you are grieving. Man, oh my God, it's ridiculous.
We also asked the governor to appoint this case to the Attorney General, and we're actually waiting back to hear, because he did hear that. We had that conversation one-on-one, or at least Zoom one-on-one. But that we don't listen to racists. We just dial it down so far as they can. It'd be minuscule. Anyways, yeah. So just to add to Dalal Eid's, this is what they do. They delay and delay and delay. And by the way, I personally believe Jack Backstrom, who is the Dakota County prosecutor, chose this case because he actually refused to bring charges against Isaac Aiden. And Isaac Aiden and Dalal Eid share because they're both black men, but they're also Somali men. Yes. Oh yeah, he refused to bring charges against the killer cops who killed Isaac Aiden. And by the way, there are 90 of them, 90 police officers, while Isaac Aiden was sitting down and literally sitting down, putting his hands on his head, and they fired shots at him. So that case has not been resolved, and that Jack Backstrom, once he heard that another Somali young black man was killed, he chose this case. And then he retired, as his father said. He retired. And these county prosecutors are in bed with the police. They will never bring charges against the police departments. That's why we're asking for the governor to step in and to take the matter out of the Dakota County prosecutor. And also, by the way, there is actually a loophole created by the state of Minnesota. There's a statute that allows the governor to do that. And that statute was created because county prosecutors did not want to prosecute pedophilia priests. So they allowed the county prosecutors not to be subjugated to bring those charges, and they allowed for a special prosecutor to do that. So that is the loophole that we have, that actually right now we're using to make sure that the governor assigns a special prosecutor. And so it's actually on the governor's front lawn right now. We stood in front of the governor and we're demanding for the governor to do that. And Walz needs to listen to us, because if he doesn't listen to us, 2022.
Black lives, black lives, black youth, black youth, black youth, black youth. So no doubt, we're gonna keep things moving real quick. We came out here to demand justice for black youth, black and brown youth in America. Coming up next, we have Satara Strong, and she has some new voices with her. Give her a big round of applause.
We're gonna say, when black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back.
That's right. My name is Satara Strong Allen. I had to throw the Allen on there. My wife will never forgive me. I was recently married this summer, and I'm with Thank you. I'm with Black Lives Matter Twin Cities. I'm just gonna read what I wrote. They're trying to take our future from us, right? They can't stop the revolution. They can't pause it. They can't hold it. They can't gel it. They can't take us out, so they want to take out the youth, right? So they want to try to kill the revolution. So they want to try to take our future from us. Somebody said that ain't right.
That ain't right.
And so it is beyond despicable, beyond humane, and I'm tired of them taking our babies from us. We got Trayvon Martin, Mike Brown, Khalil Thompson, Dalal Eid, Isaac Aiden, Tamir Rice, Emmett Till, Dante Wright, Kobe Heisler, Desmond Knight, Adam Toledo, and now Ma'Khia Bryant. And not only, I don't care about that, that's all noise. Not only do they attempt to kill them, but the chemical warfare that they experience on the front lines is outlandish. There are other ways that they use to attack our youth from all sides. It's not just killing them. It's not just police brutality. It's not just chemical warfare. They mess with their minds, right? They try to take their intellect from them in the schools. They try to take their spirit from them in the schools. They start from the time that they're 2. This isn't new. They start trying to obliterate our black girl magic and our black boy joy from our kids from the time that they step into the school system. I'm an educator, so I see this all the time, and my goal is to stand behind them and support them and make sure that they can't steal that life from our kids, because that's what they're trying to do. There's a school to prison pipeline that goes on as well. They have beds set up for our kids in the jails from the time that they're 5. This isn't new. This is on purpose, right? When we look at the 13th Amendment, Jelani talked about modern day slavery. When we look at the 13th Amendment and we look at it and it says, except there cannot be slavery, I'm paraphrasing, except as punishment for a crime, right? And so that's how they do our kids. They rack up these charges on them. They start with all the behavior, right, in the schools. They want to say that they're bad because they just want to get up and move their bodies, because they're anxious, because they don't belong in a building of white supremacy, sitting in a seat after they had to deal with all this trauma that goes on from George Floyd, from Dante Wright, and nobody listens to them. Instead, they characterize them as bad kids, and then they send them to a behavior intervention specialist who then says, oh, DeMonte couldn't stay in his seat, so we're gonna give him in-school suspension today. And we start racking up those charges. And then we start to see when they graduate from school at 18, if they're at a rally or if they're on the front lines like some of our youth have been, and then they get tear gassed just for trying to hold space for Dante Wright, then they have, it's easier for police to pin charges on them. They have an excuse, right? That's called the school to prison pipeline. And I'm tired of that. Enough is enough. Somebody say enough is enough.
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 This is why we have to stay focused, right? I'm tired of business as usual. Governor Walz with Operation Safety Net. That's just another way for him to create a war zone so that it's easier for our kids to have to experience this trauma and experience this police brutality, right? And so he brings in these cops from out of state, these troopers that are coming from the place where Ma'Khia Bryant was murdered. What does that say about these crooked politicians that we have in these seats, right? What does that say about those same officers, that same National Guard that is sitting in our city right now, right? And so we have to think about those things and start to really be vigilant and keep our boots on the ground, because this ain't over, as many people have said today. And the whole damn system is guilty as hell. It's not just one part, right? It's the whole damn system. And so I need y'all to keep your eyes open. I brought some youth with me today because their voices matter. And so we have Samar, and she's gonna come up and share with you.
Give me a B, B, I got your B, I got your B. Give me an L, L, I got your L, I got your L. Give me an N, N, I got your M, I got your M. What does that spell? Black Lives Matter. What does that spell? Black Lives Matter. Give me a B, B, I got your B, I got your B. Give me an L, L, I got your L, I got your L. Give me an N, N, I got your M, I got your M. What does that spell? Black Lives Matter. What does that spell? Black Lives Matter. See, I was gonna start my chant off with say his name, but I didn't know what name you guys would have said. I'm from St. Anthony. A lot of y'all may not know where that is, but you may know because the St. Anthony Police Department murdered Flannel Castile. That's the name I think of. But the person to my left might think of Dante Wright. The person to my right might think of George Floyd. The person in front of me might think of Donald Aaliyah. I can keep going. See, before these cops murdered someone, they were a student in someone's classroom. Racism is taught, but so is anti-racism. But our school loves to say, we're all about anti-racism, we're all about anti-racism. Show it. Apply it in your classroom. Because the only time we tend to see Black history is when we're seeing Black people getting lynched, Black people getting murdered. We're not seeing Black joy, Black liberation, Black people thriving. See, a week and a half ago, Dante Wright was murdered, and our school sent out an email. Sent it out and was like, hey, if you guys need any resources, we're aware this happened, all that stuff. Like the white counterparts in my school experienced the same thing I did as a Black individual. Racial trauma resources are needed in our schools, and the thing that I ask all of you is you go back to your city and bring this conversation going. This isn't like this space. I wish I could have a neighborhood of people that were like you. But unfortunately, we have students growing up, we have white students growing up thinking racism is okay. I can act left and right. I can call a Black person 3/5 of a person, get suspended for a day. What happened to me, a white kid called me 3/5 of a person, gets suspended, comes back the next day, like nothing ever happened. That ain't right. That ain't right. See, our Black students our Black youth are taught to mature at a young age because they have to. I'm 17 years old. I'm going to college next fall. I have to commit for school in 2 weeks, and I'm going to UCLA. But right now, I have to think about where. But I still have to have this conversation. We had a statewide walkout on Monday, led by youth, led by the Minnesota teen activists. And this conversation needs to keep going in the classroom. See, cops have guns, but teachers do just as much damage to their Black youth. They're not taught. Black students, for me, I was never taught about black people thriving until I got out of that building. When I'm in that building, I feel so, I have to code switch when I don't even notice it. I have to act a certain way just to get by. Black students have to get, a competent black student in America is a living hell. It's a lot of pain. It's a lot of angry conversations. A lot of people saying, we hear you, but I'm not heard. They see us like they can't apply it in the classroom. They had the walkout, but it was optional, obviously, for whoever wanted to walk out. But the people that needed to hear it most were the people staying in the classroom. And teachers that are like, oh, I'm all about anti-racism. Tell them what's happening. Tell them what's up. Pull up. That's right. But they don't. It's all talk. So when I say talk your talk, walk your walk. Show up, amplify black voices, or we're going to make our own space for ourselves. Where there's power, there's people. Where there's power, there's people. Where there's power, there's people. All power to the people.
Next, we're gonna have Markiana. She's been out on this front line. I'm gonna give this to you. She's been out on this front line this whole time, right? She doesn't get a lot of play, but she is a phenomenal black woman, and phenomenal she is.
So I'm kind of nervous, but
Don't be, we love you.
Talk your shit.
I was at a protest, missed curfew for it actually, but I went to a protest. It was a night protest down here, and I heard Tashir Garraway say, I don't want y'all to paint me as the angry black woman, but I want y'all to know that I'm fed the fuck up, or I'm pissed the fuck off. One of those ones. But I went home because I couldn't get that out of my head, and I just wrote to it. I don't really name my poems because I'm all over the place, but I'm just gonna call this like I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm pissed off because we fucking up where we lay our heads, but it's silent in the suburbs. I said I'm pissed the fuck off because kids are in cages and you're on vacation in the same place you deport them to. It's you suddenly having a problem with immigration, but it was only right when Columbus did it. Killing 15 million indigenous, like this isn't even your nation. How the fuck you discover something that you colonized? I'm pissed off because 4 white men are on a monument for everyone to see. But my ancestors built this country for free and Native Americans don't get the recognition they seek. I said I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm pissed at capitalism because the poor on their last dollar scrapping to get by and the rich only get richer for shit they lie and deny. I said I'm pissed the fuck off because the government drops off guns and drugs in black neighborhoods and gets on the media and sides of black crime like he ain't do that shit. I'm pissed at gentrification. Paint over my home and make it pretty for the white man. I'm pissed the fuck off. I'm pissed at Lisa Bender. We said defund the police and you overfund them $10,000. Are you fucking kidding me? Fuck schools in the hood, huh? How we good when y'all put junky fried foods next to us and tell us we obese? I'm pissed because they take us for imbeciles. We said abolish the police here, propose a different name for killer cops. Pissed doesn't describe how the fuck I feel because we need unity, no popping out for photo ops. Man, I'm pissed the fuck off because the Subway sandwich apparently looked like a Glock. Cause Chauvin get a trial like we all ain't watch. Man, I'm pissed the fuck off cause some dusty ass walls got justice before a black woman. Cause a 6-year-old in the courtroom for picking a flower. Cause white America thinks I can't breathe is a fancy slogan. Cause the correlation of being black and a woman in America is being paid 38% less than white men and 21% less than white women. Man, I'm pissed the fuck off. Cause black men that don't love black women exist. Cause if you a black woman and you on the front lines, you still get called a bitch. Man, I'm pissed the fuck off. Thank you.
Black lives! Black lives! Black lives! So we're about to get in the streets for a little bit. We got Brandon. Gonna start this off real quick. You guys ready to start marching? Alright, Black lives matter! Black lives matter! Black lives matter! If Marcus don't get it, shut it down! 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 If Dante don't get it, shut it down! If Dante don't get it, if Dante don't get it,
Shut it down!
if Dante don't get it,
Shut it down!
Said if Dante don't get it, I said if Dante don't get it, I said if Dante don't get it, said if Dante don't get it, I said if Dante don't get it, I said if Dante don't get it, 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 said if Dante don't get it,
Shut it down!
Stop this shit now.
Whose street?
Our streets!
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 Whose street? I'm gonna need y'all to be louder because shit, we got a little sliver of justice yesterday, but they think that we gonna be quiet now because of yesterday. So we gotta let them know that we still gonna be out here until we get justice all over these fucking streets, until we get justice all over this country. So when I say this shit, y'all better say it back like y'all mean it. Whose street?
Our streets!
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 When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Said what do we do?
Stand up, fight
I
back!
said what do we do?
Stand up, fight
I
back!
said what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
When black youth are under attack, what do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
What do we do?
Stand up, fight back!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Say black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Say black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Say black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
Black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
I said black lives, they matter here.
Black lives, they matter here!
I said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
I said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
I said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
I said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
I said black youth, they matter here.
Black youth, they matter here!
Micaiah Bryant, say her name.
Micaiah Bryant!
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 What's her name?
Micaiah Bryant!
What's her name?
Micaiah Bryant!
Say her name.
Micaiah Bryant!
Say her name.
Micaiah Bryant!
Dante Wright. Say his name.
Dante Wright!
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 What's his name?
Dante Wright!
Say his name.
Dante Wright!
Say his name.
Dante Wright!
What's his name?
Dante Wright!
Dalal Eid. Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
What's his name?
Dalal Eid.
What's his name?
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
What's his name?
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
What's his name?
Dalal Eid.
Say his name.
Dalal Eid.
What's his name?
Dalal Eid.
Hey, if y'all don't know, it's 12 right on the other side of this. They got it blacked out and shit. It's a couple holes in there though. So say no good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system.
Say no good cops in a racist system.
No good cops in a racist system.
Say no good cops in a racist system.
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 ACAB.
All cops are bastards.
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 GTFO. Get the fuck out. I said GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
I said ACAB.
All cops are bastards.
I said ACAB.
All cops are bastards.
I said GTFO.
Get the fuck out.
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 All right, y'all. So we're gonna do a quick loop around, but we're only taking one side of the street because we don't have a lot of marshals out here, so we want to stay safe. So stay on one side of the street. All right. Let's give it back up for Brandon.
You got a lot of footage of me. It's only fair.
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black youth matter.
Black youth 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 matter.
Say Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black lives matter.
Black lives matter.
Say Black youth matter.
Black youth matter.
Adam Toledo, say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? 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 Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. Tamir Rice. Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. 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 This nation has been killing young black folks since forever, since its creation. Not just the police, but all of these systems of white supremacy have been killing our youth. When I say his name, y'all say Emmett Till. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. What's his name? Say his name. If we don't get no justice, if we don't get no justice, I said 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 if we don't get no justice, no justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. No justice, no peace. Prosecute the 412, no justice, no peace. Prosecute the police. 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 I don't know where y'all been told, but killer cops have got to go. Say, I don't know where y'all been told, but killer cops have got to go. Say fuck 12, say fuck 12. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Say, I don't know where y'all been told, but killer cops have got to go. Say, I don't know where y'all been told, but killer cops have got to go. Say fuck 12, say fuck 12. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 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 9, 10, 11. I don't know where y'all been told. The National Guard has got to go. Say, I don't know where y'all been told. The National Guard has got to go. Say fuck 12. Say fuck 12. Say 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I said 9, 10, 11. I say 9, 10, 11. I said 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 9, 10, 11. They got this Operation Safety Net bullshit, trying to keep their buildings, trying to keep their city safe. We don't got no Operation Safety Net for these black youth that they keep taking from us. How about you enact the National Guard to protect black and brown children? That's what we want. That's what we need. That's what we want. That's what we need. So say, we don't need your operation. No more military occupation.
No more military occupation.
Say, we don't need no operation.
We don't need no operation.
No more military occupation.
No more military occupation.
Say, we don't need your operation.
We don't need your operation.
No more military occupation.
No more military occupation.
We say, fuck your operation.
Fuck your operation.
No more military occupation.
No more military occupation.
We say, fuck your operation.
We say fuck your operation.
No more military occupation.
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 Hey, hey, ho, ho, these racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho, these
racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho.
These racist cops have got to go.
Hey, hey, ho, ho. These racist cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These killing cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. These killing cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho.
These killing cops have got to go.
Hey, 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 ho, ho. These killer cops have got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The National Guard has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The National Guard has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The National Guard has got to go. Hey, hey, ho, ho. The National Guard has got to go. Boots, boots, boots are on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots are on the ground. We're here to shut this shit down. Louder, boots, boots.
Boots are on the ground.
We're here to shut this shit down, down. Boots, boots, boots are on the ground. We here.
To shut this shit down.
Remix, shout out to my boy DJ. Hey, he resting up. We've been putting in work 14 days straight. This shit don't stop because they don't know how to stop killing motherfuckers, okay? So remix, say boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. We here to shut this shit down, down. Boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. We here to shut this shit down. Boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. We here
To shut this shit down.
louder. Boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. We here to louder. Boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. We here to shut this shit down, down. Boots, boots, boots on the motherfucking ground. here to shut this shit down. When I say boots on the ground, y'all say boots on the damn ground. Boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. And that's that on that on that on that. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. And that's on that on that on that. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. And that's on that on that on that. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. And that's on that on that on that. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. Say boots on the ground. And that's that on that on that on that. Say black lives they matter here. Say black lives they matter here. I said black lives they matter here. I said black lives they matter here. I said black youth 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 they matter here. When black youth are under attack, what do we do? When black youth are under attack, what do we do? Say 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 what do we do? When black youth are under attack, what do we do? When black youth are under attack, what do we do? 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 Speaking of black youth, how about we let some black youth do what they do? Fight for their lives just like we fight for them, like they fight for us. Because that's all we got. That's all we got. All we got is each other. When I say that's all we got, y'all say that's all we need. That's all we got. That's all we got. We all we got. We all we need. We all we got. 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 We all we got.
Alright guys, we're gonna need a beat here, alright? Come on, son! Come on, we got boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here to shut this shit down! Come on, boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here to shut this shit down! Come on, boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here to shut this shit down! Come on, boots! Boots! Boots on the ground! We're here! We're here to shut this shit down! When we're fighting for justice, we're gonna have some fun while we're doing it, alright?
Say that.
Keep going.
Gotta keep coming.
Give me a B!
B, I got your B, I got your B.
Give me an L!
L, I got your L, I got your L.
Give me an M!
M, I got your M, I got your M.
What does that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
What does that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
Come on, give me a B!
B, I got your B, I got your B.
Give me an M!
M, I got your M, I got your M.
Give me an M!
M, I got your M, I got your M.
What does that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
What does that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
Go ahead, Marquis. Give it up for the black youth, y'all.
So if y'all be down there at Wilkins Center Police Department, they be trying to arrest motherfuckers. That shit dead. Okay, so let's let them know. You can't jail the revolution.
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 We gon' get our liberation.
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 You can't stop the revolution.
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 We gon' get our reparations.
We gon' get our reparations.
We gon' get our liberation.
We gon' get our reparations.
We
Yeah.
You ready?
Hey.
Bow down, Babylon, black people all about. Is y'all really coming? I'm not feeling this. Bow down, Babylon, black people on the boat.
We ready. We coming. We ready. We coming.
Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
Indict, convict, send those killer cops to jail.
The whole damn system is guilty as hell.
No good cops in a racist system.
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 Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose streets? Our streets. Whose land? Native land. Whose land? Native land. Whose land? Native land. Whose land? Native land. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. If the law don't get it, shut it down. If the law don't get it, shut it down. If the law don't get it, shut it down. If Brianna don't get it, shut it down. If Brianna don't get it, shut it down. If Brianna don't get it, shut it down. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. If Dante don't get it, shut it down. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
I'll have to hear everyone's voices. I know we can be more encouraged than that. Alright, I said, ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
Say what? Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop. Ain't no power like the power of the people, cause the power of the people don't stop.
You can't stop the revolution.
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 Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Give me a B!
B, I got your B, I got your B.
Give me an L!
L, I got your L, I got your L.
Give me an M!
M, I got your M, I got your M.
What's that spell?
Black Lives Matter.
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 Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Black Lives Matter!
Black Lives Matter.
Hold up, y'all. I'm from Louisville, so we gotta do one for Breonna Taylor. When I say Bree, y'all say way. Bree! 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 Bree way! Freeway, I hit the motherfucking freeway.
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 I don't want to say another motherfucking name.
I don't want to say another motherfucking name.
I should have to say another motherfucking name.
I should have to say another motherfucking name.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
Whose streets?
Our streets.
You can't stop the revolution.
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 Keep going.
I believe that we will win.
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 I know that we will win.
I know that we will win.
I know that we would win.
I know that we will win.
Give it up for the black youth, y'all. Give it up for the black youth. Hey man, appreciate y'all for coming out here. I don't know where Nakima's at. Trey, we just go. Yeah, I'll just say a few words first, if that's okay with y'all.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, man, this shit has been tiring because these cops don't know how to stop killing black folks. It's like they don't know how. It's almost like that's what they were made for. Crazy, right?
Say that again.
Crazy how that shit goes. And like, just if you look back just a couple weeks, on April 11th, we were at Justin Tigan's event celebrating the life of Justin Tigan, who was killed by St. Paul police in 2009, and his body was found the next day in a trash dumpster. He was found sorted in with the recyclables. Someone say that ain't right.
That ain't right.
Say that ain't right.
That ain't right.
Say that ain't right.
That ain't right.
And that same night, so that event started at 2 p.m. At 1:47 p.m., Dante Wright was in the street, dead on the ground. And we was marching for Justin Tigan, celebrating the life of Justin Tigan, and we had to learn the news that another black body was taken too quickly at the hands of the police. And just yesterday, you know, it's almost like they try to do that shit. Yesterday we got to take one breath. We got to one deep exhale. We were okay for just a split second. When we heard guilty, 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 we were like, damn. It was a celebration. We weren't celebrating much. We were celebrating the murder that we knew was a murder 11 months prior. But we had to wait 11 months before the state said that it was murder. We were celebrating that little bit, the tiniest victory, the inch of the marathon that we've been running. We were celebrating a little bit. I was mid-speech. Someone came up and whispered, they just killed a girl out in Ohio. We can't have a fucking day. We cannot have a fucking day. A single day to celebrate the smallest little inch, the smallest little slice of victory that we get. We can't have a fucking day to celebrate it. Every time we think, damn, maybe things gonna change. Maybe change is coming. Maybe things will start going our way. And then we're put right back into the reality that ain't shit changed. Ain't shit changed. The only thing that Minneapolis did since George Floyd was murdered was protect downtown. The only place they spent their money was fortifying these buildings, the courthouse, all of downtown. That's the only place they spent their money. They spent their money on that, and they spent their money on evicting the unhoused communities. That's the only places they spent their money. They didn't put any money ensuring that no more black and brown bodies will be lined up in these streets. Yet just blocks away from where George Floyd was murdered, they killed Dalal E. Just on the north side of Minneapolis, up in Brooklyn Center, a 26-year police officer, veteran, killed a 20-year-old black man. And I'm sick and tired of people saying, oh, why do y'all feel fear for your life? Dante Wright feared for his life and they killed him. He got back in that car because he knows what happens when niggas go to jail. He got back in that car because he knows what happens when niggas go in the back of police cars. He got back in that car because he knows how trigger happy them police are. And she was more trigger happy than he thought. So every fear that he had, people want to call it irrational. People want to say that we have these irrational fears bestowed upon us by the media, by a narrative, by whatever. They killed that boy. They killed that boy. Ain't no conspiracy theory, ain't nothing about that shit. They killed that boy. The system killed that boy. People want to say it was an accident. It's no accident that his community's over-policed. It's no accident that they pulled him over because of some air fresheners. That is no accident. 26 years on the force, and she don't know what a taser is from a Glock. That's not a fucking accident. That is not an accident. And here we are again. And here we are again. And we have to keep showing up. And we have to keep showing up. Because they do not know how to stop killing us. My mama said, I think it was after Jacob Blake, so many names you forget which one. I think after Jacob Blake, after they shot him in the back 7 times, she said something like, Shouldn't they know better by now? Shouldn't the last thing they want to do is shoot at an unarmed black person? You'd fucking think so. You sure would think so. But it seems like the only time that we get any type of change is when we take to these motherfucking streets. Is when we take to these streets. We had to damn near burn the city down for them to say maybe that was a murder. We had to damn near burn the city down for them to say maybe that was a murder. We're sick and we're tired. I'm fucking exhausted. Being a black body on this planet is fucking exhausting. But the one thing that we can never, ever get tired of is fighting. Because that's what they want. So no matter how mentally drained I am, no matter how physically drained I am, I will never be tired of fighting. Thank each and every one of you for coming out here today to fight for the black youth. Because if we give up, if we stop fighting now, they're the generation that's gonna have to pay for it. No matter what change I do or don't see in my lifetime, I have to fight so that if we're just a little bit further ahead than where that generation below me started, that'll be a win, that'll be a victory. That's all I'm here for. That's all we are here for, is the liberation of black people from these oppressive systems. And until that happens, no matter how tired you are, you cannot be tired of fighting. Thank you.
Yes, thank you, and thank you for doing all that chanting, because I know how it wears on your voice. It takes a toll. You can't chant, right? You can't chant for hours, day after day after day, and have it not have an impact on your voice. So thank you. That's a sacrifice. So thank you for that. We got some members of TCC for J here, Twin Cities Coalition for Justice for Jamar, which I'm a member also. But we were having a meeting tonight. So we have an event on Saturday. It's a petition for our CPAC, Minneapolis Community Control of the Police Now. That will be Saturday at 11:30 a.m. at Minneapolis Public Schools Davis Center, Minneapolis. So you can come out for that event on Saturday. We want to thank TCC for J for all their continued support and doing just incredible work and keeping the legacy and the name of Jamar Clark alive always, always, always. So now we have Satara with Black Lives Matter Twin Cities Metro. Satara's going to come up and close us out with the Asata chant.
Y'all give it up for Miss Monique. I call her Miss because I give honor and respect where it's due. Please give it up for Miss Monique. Give it up for Brandon. He's been out here. I'm sure y'all know that. Y'all been out here too. Raise your hand if you are 25 and under. Okay. Keep your hand up if you're black and 25 and under. All right. I want y'all to come stand with me, please. If you feel comfortable. If you feel comfortable. Yes, my black queens, my queens, my queens, my kings, my queens. Thank you so much. Right here. We're gonna all do it together. Okay. All right. Repeat after me. We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one
We
another.
have nothing to lose but our chains.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
All the trauma you've been having, all the celebration, right? Everything that you're feeling, I want you to let that go when you say it. Y'all ready? Y'all ready? We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to fight for our freedom.
We have a duty to win.
We have a duty to win.
We must love and support one another.
We must love and support one another.
We have nothing to lose but our chains.
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 All power youth. They are our future. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Nakima, Miss Monica.
Okay, so there's snacks actually for people to take home because I think Nakima has been buying like Gatorade and other things, so just get something to take home. So don't leave here empty-handed. And definitely we just want to thank you for putting how you feel, your care, your compassion, and your love for Black lives into action and hitting these streets with us. Once again, after we've been out so many nights and so many times, we just thank you for your steadfastness and your support. Give yourselves a hand. Woo!
I'm leaving before 4. So I want to be able to talk about it. That's fine. There is a Hey everyone, just moving away from the soundtrack real quick before copyright music starts. My live stream from last night out front of the Brooklyn Center Police Department is no longer viewable in the United States on YouTube because there were 3 copyright claims on it, which is really annoying. So hopefully I'm far enough away. Here we are in front of the Hennepin County Government Center in Minneapolis. If you have been down here recently, especially the last couple days, or watched live streams or seen photos, you might have noticed that there were what I assume were Hennepin County sheriffs and then also National Guard troops up on that balcony up there, right above where it says Hennepin County Government Center, and also behind these fences. But there is nobody there right now. On the sides of the building, down that street, and that street, there's actually, if you can see that blinking red light there's a street that runs under this building, which is blocked off right now, and National Guard vehicles and troops had been back there for a long time. Of course, the last couple of days, but also other days that I had been down here just during the trial, and those vehicles are not there right now. And I didn't see any troops guarding the entrances. I do see one guy right in there right now, walking through. Just honestly looks like security even, maybe an officer, but I don't see any National Guard right now around the Hennepin County Government Center, so that's interesting. So we were down here in Minneapolis for a march for the youth and a rally that started here. And then we just marched basically around the government center and city hall. Back here again. Happened today, even after the news of guilty on all 3 charges yesterday. The community is still dealing with the murder of Dante Wright, not far from here in Brooklyn Center. We heard from the father of Dalal Eid, who was killed by Minneapolis police in December. He still has apparently no information about what happened. So people here are obviously happy with what happened yesterday. But as you can see, they're not quitting and not stopping because there's a lot more going on that they're demanding justice for. So I'm gonna go home. I have a lot of photos to edit from the last couple of days. But thanks for tuning in. Thanks for sharing this if you did. Again, we were live in Minneapolis in front of the Hennepin County Government Center.